In the last video, we discussed how your first language has patterns that you may be transferring without your knowledge or awareness into your spoken American English. Those patterns are deeply entrenched. So even if you learn to pronounce American English sounds well, you may still have an accent. And more than an accent, because everyone has an accent, you may not feel comfortable and confident. Or, in more subtle ways, you may not be able to impart how you feel, your personality, your intent, your warmth, and other desirable characteristics to your spoken English. And that's so important. The message that you give is more than pronunciation. There's so much more to being able to deliver a genuine message. So what I'd like to do now is share with you a way that you can migrate away from the tense articulation used in many other languages of the world. We explored French, German, and Spanish, but many other languages have much shorter elements of speech. We often think of syllables, but not every language has syllables. In American English, as we've discussed in past videos, we have long syllables and short ones. We have variable length. And we also know that we have breath on the sounds, which we've monitored before with tissues. And we've also looked at our mouth movement in past videos. But my suggestion to you today is that even if you change all of those things, you're breathing, you're exhaling, you have better mouth movement, you're pronouncing all the sounds correctly, you still may be carrying over one other ingredient from your first language that you may not be aware of. What's the commonality between speaking French, Spanish, and German that I don't have when I speak English, at least American English, which is different than British English? And that is tense articulation. I'm not controlling with my lips. I'm using my jaw, but in addition, there's lots of room and space in my throat, in my mouth, in the back of my neck, in the back of my mouth, way more space than you may imagine. In fact, let's do that. Let's imagine the space. So I'd like to invite you to think about, as you may have if you've worked on your posture or you've worked on your breath. You may have worked with the neck, for example, with elongating your neck and making it feel free, with thinking of your neck going forward and upward. Other modalities of speech and breath work focus on those areas. So let's start there. Let's start with the idea of diaphragmatic breathing. Neck is free to move forward and up. But in addition, a key component is imagine, if you will, and feel free to close your eyes. I'll do it with you. Close your eyes and imagine that you are becoming bigger inside the mouth. The mouth cavity is becoming larger and larger, and the throat is becoming larger and larger, and the jaw is relaxing more and more. You're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and larger. Lots of space in the back of your neck, and your throat is getting bigger in every direction, forward, back, left, right, up, down. There's space inside your mouth. All of your articulators are relaxed. Now open your eyes and continue to experience that space. Now what would it take for your breath from your diaphragm to continue to emerge through that space? There's no restriction, there's no tightening in the jaw, there's no tightening in the throat. There's complete flow of breath as you speak. Now we're on to something. That, my friends, is the American accent. So let's now go to The Little Prince, which we played with earlier in German. But let's do the English version of what we did in German. "What must I do to tame you?" asked the little prince. "You must be very patient," replied the fox. "First you will sit down at a little distance from me, like that, in the grass. I shall look at you out of the corner of my eye, and you will say nothing. Words are the source of misunderstandings, and you will sit a little closer to me every day." The next day, the little prince came back. Notice that the natural speech in American English requires complete relaxation, not only of the jaw and the lips, but also of all the articulators in the surrounding area. The neck, not just the back of the neck, not just the top of the head, but the entire inside portion of your throat, your mouth, and even the areas extending down to the clavicular area and the thoracic area. Think of expansion. Think of breath expanding, looseness, lightness, relaxation of every articulator, and then speak clearly and effectively in American English.